even though I was facing some serious depression, I thought that everything that I was experiencing was the normal, stereotypical depressed teen, like, ideal. But the thing is, I would end up getting to sixth period after SOAR 60 and literally be falling asleep because I could not keep up throughout the day. And that was a problem. And I thought that was completely normal. So then when I actually started noticing more of an effect was through winter guard. So I had practice one night and I went to it like I did every other practice, sometimes dreading to go, but I went and I started practicing like normal, and we started to go through our show, stand in the light with counts, and I was like, okay, sounds good. So then I was doing it with counts, and I started to not be able to keep up because I could not breathe. I was coughing and just like gasping for air. And then I was like, I can't do 3 full runs of this at this practice. So then I ended up not doing that, but I went home to my mom and was like, this is an issue. I have a competition on the weekend. So then she ended up taking me to the doctor the next day after school. And I was like, okay, cool beans. Just we'll get a cough medicine. We'll be fine. So we went, and the doctor came and like started to like check me out and all that, like to make sure like there wasn't anything seriously wrong with me. And he was like, your cough doesn't sound sick. And I was like, okay, dope. What are we gonna do? And he was like, okay, I'm just gonna prescribe you the normal cough medicines and you'll be on your way. So then this was the waiting game. He was gone for probably about 10 minutes, which is very odd when he's just going to write prescriptions. And he comes back and he's like, something's really bugging me here. I'm going to do an x-ray. And I was like, okay, sounds good. I was going to get Chick-fil-A afterwards, so I was looking forward to that. So I went and did the x-ray, and then I went back to the room and sat there and just was staring at my mom out of boredom. And so then it felt like an eternity went by before he came back. Little did I know, I became the talk to like in between all the doctors. I was like a medical mystery to them, and he came in. Now imagine like this is a doctor movie and like you're about to get really bad news. He comes in, he's like, I have something to show you. You already know that it's going to be something bad. So then we go to this little room with a computer, and he shows the x-ray, which is not very great because it's like a dog in the box kind of thing. And all you could see was where my heart was, a big giant mass. He was like, you either have a mass or an enlarged heart. Right in that very moment, I had to take a second, pinch myself, and be like, is this real? And it was in that moment that my life took a turn, like a whole 360, and I was about to face something that I never thought I would ever have to face. So then I went to Children's Hospital and had a very late night of scans and just waiting. And a lot of this was simply just waiting, especially since I was indeed a medical mystery. So I had a bunch of scans, including a CT scan, and a chaplain came in one day, and we were talking, and he was like, gotta put a name and face to your enemy. And he kept talking with my mom, and I just kind of zoned out, and I was like, what can I name it? First name that came to mind, I shouted, Billy. They both looked at me like I was completely insane until I explained that I took what he said literally. And it was little things like that where I took the worst situation that could possibly happen to someone and just find humor in it. Not because like I thought it was funny, but like as a healthy coping mechanism. And so I was in that same hospital room for about a month. And Children's Hospital went to go do their surgery. it decided not to and instead gave me a PICC line, which is fine. But then a team at UAB decided to operate on me. This goes back to the long waiting game. They go and do the surgery and collect 12 good samples. Then it takes a lot of time for the results to get back, and I was stuck in the same hospital room, and it was very interesting. So then the results came back. All the samples came back inconclusive. And then my surgeon was like, girl, you've been in this hospital room way too long. You need to go home, take a break. I'll see you on Wednesday when we do the next operation. So they go to do the next operation, and they take out the whole right side of the mass. Then they end up actually getting the whole rest of my mass out, which is really cool. And that sped up my next phase of treatment. Treatment phase is basically 3 rounds. No, I have 4 rounds, each lasting 3 weeks. And basically, I was undergoing chemotherapy. And I know what you might be thinking. Chemotherapy at the age of 14. How did you do it without, wanting to give up? I'll be honest, I really wanted to give up from time to time, but I continued to find it in me, the strength. I would joke around, especially when I was bald, and be like, I look like Mr. Clean, you know? And I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Hodgkin's lymphoma is a cancer that is typically found in teens, children and teens. And that's not something you would want to hear at the age of 14. But I was like, okay, cool. Here we go. So I did not have the best experience with chemo. No one really does, especially the first round. The first round really knocks you down. But the chemo that I got, it started to affect my muscles and make me weaker, especially since I wasn't being active. So there was one time when I was cleaning my room and I had to sit down because I couldn't stand for a long time. I went to stand up and I just couldn't get up. It was in that moment that I was like, why am I doing this? Why don't I just give up? But then I proceeded to continue to fight it and and I found the strength. It was really not easy, and I know I keep saying this, and I know that you're thinking, of course it's not easy, it's chemo, but it really helped to have people by your side, and my mom took pictures any chance she got, even though I was very bald and didn't look that attractive, but I tried my best to own it. And now I'm here today to tell the story in hopes that it could inspire any one of you to, when you're facing something as bad, hopefully not as bad as cancer, to be able to find some kind of positivity to keep you going. And I realized that I could really be impactful yesterday when I was talking to a sub. I was not expecting to go into my full cancer story, but I ended up doing so, and by the end of it, she was in tears and was like, I really need to hear that. She lost motivation to keep going, and I hope that I could do that for you today.